I want to know what it is Quick is trying to say.
Hey, we're gonna do this, man. We just gonna have to do it. Kyron is not here, as everybody can see, but I'm gonna try my best. Here we go. Let's do it, Wally. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Fourth Wall Productions, in collaboration with Taurus Comics, respectfully brings you the 152nd episode of the Four Tales podcast. I am your host, Danny J. Quick from Fourth Wall Productions, and standing in for Kyron across the way is the king of the Queen City, Wally McNair.
Whoa, buddy, please.
There,
Please, don't do that. Don't do that. Kings get dropped and downfalls, all that, brother. I'm just a guy who fight for his people and keep it peaceful.
I knew you was gonna have something to say. I
don't claim kingmanship to no city. I just stand for all my people.
We'll say the King Supreme of the Queen City, and together.
I don't want to put nothing with King, and I'm good on all of them. You know what I'm saying? But I'm here though. Ain't nobody saying but we here.
The co-creator, King Supreme from the Queen City, Wally McNair, and together we are two blurred comic creators here to help you find your next favorite comic. We are live on the Agents of Geekdom Network via Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok. So if you're listening or watching us live, thank you for your support. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and review this podcast, because all of your positive reviews and interactions help us reach a bigger audience. Wally, man, thank you for joining me, man. Thank you.
Yeah, anytime, brother. You said you needed somebody to sweep the floors. I said I'd come in and do
it. sweep the floors. Nah, man, you're doing more than that. Anybody who doesn't know, they got to know. If they know me, they got to know you. We've been working together for a long time on comics. Co-create King Supreme, man. You do a lot of work in art galleries, and Elton, dang on Fairy Tale Nights, man. All kinds of Skull Kids, man. All kinds of stuff, man. I've been watching and thankfully being part of your journey for a long time. So I appreciate you.
I'm here, my brother. Shouts to Kyron, man. For real.
Absolutely. Shout out to Kyron. I told Kyron, I hope this is the first episode out of 152 episodes. I missed a few. This is the first episode that Kyron has missed. But I'm going to try to keep it together.
We're going to do our best, Kyron, but we're probably going to mess a lot of things. Well, I'm not going to mess a lot of things. Danny's going to mess a lot of things up, but you know it's from love. You know,
I already messed up the intro because first of all, I played the wrong video.
I wasn't going to say nothing.
Second of all, I can barely read. But thankfully, we have an amazing guest who I think will help make up for some of that. So we got just amazing comic book creator, writer. You've heard of Asunda. You've heard of Niobe. You've heard of the Defiant. The CEO of Stranger Comics is in the building. Sebastian.
You forgot literary activist. You know what I'm saying? You got to put some respect on that man's name. Come on, bro.
Absolutely. Sebastian Jones in the building. Welcome, man.
Thank you. Happy Friday. How are you guys doing? Thanks for having me.
Happy Friday indeed, man. So for anybody who may not be familiar with your work, Sebastian, I know I did a quick intro, but give it to us in your own words, man.
Yeah. And I also want to pass on my love and respect to Kyron. I've been through that about a year ago, and there's always a before and an after, and that's how your life can be defined sometimes. So much love and respect and appreciation. So for folks that don't know me, maybe you know me from this angle. Familiar now?
Yeah.
All right. Hey guys, my name is Sebastian Jones. I run Stranger Comics with a whole bunch of, misfits or whatever. We're mostly known for doing the Niobe comics, or the silhouette of my hair at a comic convention. I don't know. but yeah, we're in our 16th year of doing this. 16 years of Stranger Comics, and what we're most known for in the comic space is essentially the world of Asunda with our trade paperback collections, wraparound dust jackets, the Akira homage. I saw Danny picked it up on TikTok and gave me a shout out. Thank you very much. All the fun things. We were with amazing artists around the world on our stuff. Our new Niobe comic that dropped, the Niobe She Tribe, one with Kusa and Bedu from the Woman King, is amazing. So we're just lucky to work with some amazing creators, in the space. So yeah, if you like fantasy comics, if you like fantasy, we're it. If you like super dope hip hop homages, or other homages. This we sold out of this at Emerald City Comic Con, the Emerald Edition.
Yeah.
You got the tradition. Yeah, no, same one. We went to Emerald City Comic Con and Seattle, Emerald City. They love their green, so we did 50 copies of this, and we just blew through these. Yeah, so yeah, super fun stuff, man. So just been in the game for a long time. Been creating this world since I was a boy, and I'm 83 now, and just making it happen.
Oh, you're a little bit younger than me. I'm 1,000, so we
there you go.
This is one person I've been trying to get Wally's actual age for as long as I've known him. I've known Wally
really
over 10 years now, and I still don't know exactly how old he is or when his birthday is. So
it's not important. That's not the important part. Sebastian, I did some digging, and I understand you had a record label at one point.
Oh yeah, wow, I did. Yeah, I had a record label called MVP Records. We put out. Here's actually, I don't know if you can see it like this. So I can just move a few things. There's one of that painting right there. I put as an album cover right there. I put out like 25 albums of historical jazz and blues, old soul, funk, stanky funk, break beats, all the rare stuff. This is back in the 90s, right? Because I'm a 90s hip hop head. But yeah, so if you like, basically I put out, I would guess you call it an audio encyclopedia of roots American music. Okay. So you could see the tapestry of America from the 20s and see the social evolution through music. So yeah, we put out a lot of albums and saw how, Delta blues connected to New Orleans jazz, connected to swing, the movement to Chicago, the migration, blues in the 50s, doo-wop, bebop, and that good funk, So and a bit in a soup sort of hip hop from the 90s,
Yeah. You I understand you have a love for Coltrane too, right?
Big Coltrane head. Yeah, I'm a big Train head. Just went to the Alice Coltrane museum in Los Angeles at the in Westwoods. Yeah, it sounds so not like I'm super obnoxious or whatever, but it wasn't until I heard Alice Coltrane I believed in a higher power. So kind of like music is probably my first true love, my one true love, and Alice Coltrane changed my life. So yeah, and obviously John Coltrane, of course. Sure. Big Train head, yeah, for sure.
So the music has always been coming from England. Did you get turned on to a lot of American music when you were over there, or after you got here?
Yeah, no. When I moved here when I was about 18, by myself, looking for adventure and craziness. And there was a small window of time when I was at the I grew up in England and I was in a boarding house, and it was at times quite violent and horrible. And I just being mixed, I kind of discovered in a predominantly white, predominantly super white kind of neighborhood. I think I discovered hip hop at 12, 13, and I also discovered 1960s civil rights music.
Yeah.
And discovering James Brown, Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud as a 12-year-old, 13-year-old boy, getting into a lot of fights.
Right.
for being not white. It kind of molded me a lot. I think it was super formative, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this speaks to my spirit, and it stuck with me. Yeah, so music has been huge part of my my orbit, my universe since I was a boy. Even to the point, actually, in this new comic, I wrote some music, and you could scan the QR code. I wrote it with one of my best friends who creates a children's book series called Brown Sugar Fairies.
Okay.
That we announced recently. Rob Edwards, writer of Princess and the Frog, is going to direct it. But anyway, she and I wrote some music together. You scan the QR code and you can listen to the music while you read the comic. Yeah, I'm a big music head, bro. Big music head. Yeah.
Nah,
it's trying to get Wally to get back to it, man. Wally, I told him for that Elton book that he did that he should have put some music out. Wally used to be.
We did put music. We put a whole soundtrack.
I mean you personally need to get back and put some lyrics together, man, because you spent some time as a great battle rapper, and I'd like you to get back to it, but
I mean,
now that Sebastian said it's okay, I'm sure something might happen.
I got to ask you guys a question then. As you guys are the new Niobe, yeah, Laurie. Hey, folks. So who is on your Mount? I don't want to say Mount Rushmore because it's kind of whatever. Who is your top five? Do you have a top five MCs or
man?
Vastly different.
Danny's is gonna be Will Smith somehow.
Will Smith got a new album coming out. Don't play with me now. That Lost and Found album was a lot better than people give it credit for. But
I'm not here to disrespect, but I mean mine changes, but Andre 3000 is definitely always in that top for me.
For sure.
Man, it's cliche to say Biggie and Pac, but because Pac's mom is from where I'm originally from, Lumberton, there's a certain connection there from the ground level. And Big was the first guy before I understood Slick Rick that made me really think about storytelling. So MF Doom jumps in and out of that for me a lot too. And that's not to leave out like the Coles and the Kendricks because they're definitely running, the Rayvons and so on and so forth, man. But can I say all of the Wu-Tang or do I have to pick a particular?
No, yeah, you can say the group like
okay.
You can say Andre, you can say Wu-Tang, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we throw the Wu in there, so I guess that cover that's close enough to 5 for me. I think.
That's for sure. No, go, Danny. You go.
No, I was just gonna say I listen to a lot of Southern rappers, so it's always gonna be Andre, it's gonna be J. Cole, it's gonna be Fonte Coleman, it's gonna be Rhapsody, Big Crit, people like that. So, I love the traditional, the pop hip hop stuff, but I really kind of connect with Southern rap more than anything. But
do you think Big Crit plays D&D?
Does he?
Just the name Big Crit, like
Big Crit, yeah. But Chris in tune with so many things. I wouldn't be shocked if he did low key.
Right. That's a great name, right, for D&D.
Yeah.
So I guess for me, Tribe, for sure. Wu for sure. Probably Public Enemy. Probably had. De La, I'm a Native Tongues kind of dude for sure.
Yeah.
And I would probably say as influence for me, Rakim. I would probably say.
Oh yeah. The God MC. Gotta give love.
Just me being old, But yeah, those guys, and then in the other top, it's like you're right. Like people come in and out. Like Outkast for sure.
Yeah.
I also think. The Fugees, the Score album.
Yeah, what? Forgive me. I should have said Lauren. I mean, the Fugees as a whole, but Lauren is definitely one of the illest when it comes to him. So yeah.
It's crazy. It's ridiculous. Yeah. So she might be top 5 for sure. I always prefer her emceeing to her singing. Like I just think her emceeing is just crazy.
Right, and I get yelled at when I say that. And it's not to say I don't love her singing too.
Same, for sure.
As a lyricist, like she goes toe to toe with anybody and beyond, you know.
Yeah.
So
same. Yeah, that's what we did. Like about nine different hip hop homages. I got a Lauryn Hill homage lurking around here somewhere.
Yeah.
That's the Biggie, the
DMX, yeah, Flesh of My Flesh.
Blade 2 randomly. Yeah, I didn't have them all like immediate, but yeah, I've got Lauryn Hill, Erykah Badu live album. I do a lot of hip hop homages.
Well,
sure. I've got a new one on new Kickstarter at some point.
I noticed you find different ways to incorporate the elements of the arts, from art installations to the music. Like it seems like you enjoy finding ways to include everything that mattered to you in some form or fashion when it comes to putting books out and things like that. So is that one of the, outside of writing and seeing it all come to life, is that one of the other great joys, being able to just think of new things that you might be able to incorporate?
Yeah, I you know, it's funny. I guess it's something that is you know, organic or intrinsic or whatever, that it just happens, you know. It's not like there are some moments, of course, being, you know, wearing the CEO hat, like, oh, this would sell well, this would do well for sure.
Right.
But I don't put out anything I don't 100% believe in. Or that doesn't really speak to my spirit. So it's like, okay, yeah, I when we did the Blade homage, we did 2 of them with Kanan, and it was like, well, without, you know, Blade saved Marvel, right? They in the movie space, so we need to recognize that and tip our hat to that franchise. There's I'm a big, you know, I don't know, Hulk is my favorite superhero, so we've got Hulk homages. I got one dropping on the next Kickstarter midway through the campaign.
Okay. Yeah.
So that yeah, you'll see different things kind of you know, lurk within the comic space, because I think it's always about emotional connection, right? So when you're a reader, the immediate thing you see, the first thing you see is what is on the page. So even on this, like we have this coming on the Kickstarter, the next one you can get this for free if you back the Kickstarter day one, right? So in the 90s, everyone's collecting trading cards,
right.
And so I was like, whoa, that would be kind of cool if we did a trading card homage cover. I loved that shit as a kid, and even put the stats for our character on the back.
Yeah, dope.
So fun, nostalgic, and that kind of stuff. And then in the arts, like you say, like then we can do also beautiful paintings. So things that if you're a fan of just beautiful painted art and you don't necessarily like homage stuff, or it's not your bag, but you like beautiful paintings, then you know there's something for you. Thank you, Brandon. I appreciate that.
Was it intentional, or another just kind of happened thing that a lot of the covers you select would make great gallery pieces, great wall display pieces as well? Was that an intentional move, or?
Yeah, for sure. That's a great note. So when I had my record label, you saw the painting on the wall. I now and again did gallery exhibits. In Los Angeles, there's an area in Los Angeles called Leimert Park, which is kind of like the cultural black mecca of LA.
Yeah.
In my top 20, I used to see this group called Freestyle Fellowship. You know, I used to I had dance-offs with the Black Eyed Peas before they were signed. You know, like it was that era, right? That time. Anyway, digression. But around those areas, there are a lot of galleries. And when I had my record label, I worked with amazing painters who. One guy ended up doing the complete mural for Amoeba Records, and I hired him. I was the first dude to hire him after he got out of doing a joint. But it was like, oh yeah, this is you. One thing I like to kind of do, and again, it just sounds super up my own arse, but it's like having a sense of self and dignity, and like, this is my shit.
Right.
This is not auto-tuned. This is not a sound alike.
Right. Yeah.
Tag trending. It doesn't sound like tin. It doesn't sound like a carbon copy thereof. And this is a current trend. I could give less than.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that folks, when they grab a Stranger Comics comic book, they feel like a sense of connection and pride and like embracing the craft of the art, but the ceremony of culture at the same time.
Right. That makes sense. I got so many questions, but I'm stepping all over Danny, and I don't want him to look like he ain't the boss
Hey,
right
man.
now.
No, you both are kind of guests, man. I know, Wally, you're trying to get into the live podcasting space, so hey,
No,
man,
I'm not. You trying to make me get into that space? Ben says
I see Ben.
Yeah, Ben is a good friend of the show. He wants to know there'll be posters, big posters and prints and covers possible with tiers for the rewards.
100%. I don't know. Yeah, I know Danny's, I think, got the link somewhere lurking on this thing.
Yeah.
But we also, and I might be able to find it, Danny, and I can send it to you. Actually, we're actually in the construction of the page. But to answer your question, Ben, yes, you'll be able to get any poster of any cover that we do. And there's an art collector bundle with all of the posters. And remember, day one, literally, if you back it, you literally get this for free. So if you do a physical reward, and also on StrangerCon, just to drive Danny crazy, because I know he loves the Akira homages, if you come to what we have called StrangerCon, which is our YouTube live link, you get, because we hit 100 likes, you get the new Niobe Endura Akira Virgin homage for free.
Dragon?
That's dope.
Yeah. Imagine drifting on that thing, right? Like, so you got the Niobe kicking on the dragon right there. And then that's the StrangerCon exclusive. You literally get it for free for coming on the live event on YouTube. And on the Kickstarter, we have the matching red edition. So you'll be able to get the set. So all these things are available. And in the early birds, without getting kind of too salesy, I got something crazy too, which you will literally be able to get a Death Note homage. You'll be able to open it up, put your name in it, or put somebody else's name in it.
Somebody else's name, yeah.
Somebody else's name.
Super dope. I mean, I think your story, knowing the parallels, like, because hip hop, like all these things that influenced me as well, Danny as well. I mean, except for Will Smith, I wasn't really but I think it's dope to see what you've accomplished, and from what I can tell, you hold very close to making sure that you protect what you're building, what you believe in.
Right.
How hard or how difficult or how easy has that been to turn down certain things when you know it just is going to taint what you're trying to do or completely take away from what it is that you're building?
I appreciate that. That's a great question. So when we started Stranger Comics 16 years ago, or even before that, when we were talking about it, after I ran the record label, I shopped around Niobe, The Untamed, where you first meet Niobe, these graphic novels to different publishers. And some were very honest. They were like, fantasy doesn't, honest, but I don't know, dickheads maybe.
Yeah.
They were like, fantasy doesn't sell in comics, right? You got the one-offs like Conan, Red Sonja, cool. And they were like, their black comics do not sell enough to keep us in, to make money.
Right.
And female lead comics do not sell enough to make money. I'm like, I'm doing all three, Right. And that's my lead is Niobe. And they were like, yeah, peace, whatever. But some of them were like, oh, this would look good during a Black History Month announcement, so we'll do a limited run during this window of time. And I was like, oh shit, you're really vapid. Okay. So that's what you just see. You just see Black comic headline, please shareholders, whatever. You're not seeing the integrity of the story. You're not allowing a reader, whether they're black or white or whatever, to have an empathetic kind of relationship with these characters, based on, all the stuff that we all know, right? So I was like, oh, good Lord, okay. You see this as a headline, checkbox thing, clickbaity thing. I've got to start a company to protect the integrity of Niobe in this creation. and who she is and how vulnerable she is, you know, in this world, right? You know, she could be torn down, all the things. So I was like, shit, I got to start I literally have I don't want to run a company again after the record label, but I have to start a company to protect the integrity of Niobe. And I was going through separation at the time, divorce at the time, broke. There's the times I slept in my car. So in the kind of years that followed, when movie studios would come along and they were like, oh, we're doing option. Here's dangling the carrot to your question. Like, it was, you kind of wrestle with the concept of morality, right? Because I can say, I was really moral. I stuck to my guns to protect Niobe, but that means I didn't feed my family.
Right.
And so I never really I never knock people that are deemed sellouts because I don't know what's going on really in their home life or whatever.
Yeah.
So it maybe stupidly it wasn't hard for me to say no to everybody.
Yeah.
But it did hurt my my own reality in a really big way at times.
Right.
I had one dude like literally going like, I'm gonna write you a check right at a party. He saw the stuff. He was like freaking out. You know, this big producer guy is like, I'll write you a check right now for $100,000. Like right now, I get it. I was like, I don't know you do. I don't know who you are. He's like, no. I made these movies. I'm like, yeah, but I don't know you.
Right.
I don't know who you are. He's like, but I got 100,000. I'm like, I can't be bought, right? Or Niobe can't be bought. It's not like that. But you know, and so again, it's like, yeah. So turning down stuff in some respects is hard, especially when you're like, oh, you know, we were at HBO for a while. We're not there anymore. It's like, okay, back on the road, back driving trucks, you know, back puffing boxes, you know, back doing all the things to survive. And if we never make a TV show or a film after all these offers and opportunities and things, am I okay with that? Right? Are we as creators okay with our creations and honoring the craft itself, which to me, I think we kind of have to be.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I had a small situation with a publisher who I'll leave nameless. I had did a project for my daughter called Fairy Tale Nights, and
I can say the name though.
Nah, don't. We'll leave them be. I mean, it doesn't matter. It was DC Comics. But the editor, he met me at a show. He fell in love with the project, ran it up to some people above, and one of the first things that they wanted to do was change the main character from a little black girl to a little white girl. And it was like,
yeah, I've been there.
Can't do it. Like, this is for my daughter. You know what I'm saying? Like, this if it was powdered toast guy, I might not care. Like, I may have made that just for the reason of, but for this, you know. And it was the same with music. When I was active in music, I probably could have been not a janitor at 4 Comics if I had took the opportunities that were put in front of me at times because of the money over pride, or not even pride, just principle. You know what I mean? Like, but I grew up in a world where you're supposed to stand for and stand on certain things. So I respect the fact that, you know, you've gone against those obstacles, and that, you know, you have days where you look back and say, man, I know I did the right thing, but like, you know,
right, exactly. But it doesn't feel like, you know, and it's interesting too, because people see Stranger Comics, right, and they go like, oh, there's photos of you hanging out with this celebrity or that celebrity. You must be, you know, bank. I've driven the same car for 20 years. I just got a new car because my car died.
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, it's just the visibility. You know, like assumptions. It could be fans. It could be other creators that I work with. It could be whoever. You know, because I do my best to put the art forward or whatever. And you know. And I think this in America is a big deal, right? People won't back your Kickstarter or support you if you present the sob story or you present the, you know, you better buy, you know, like, you know, when people are like, oh man, black people don't support comics. Oh, this and the other. You not supporting, like no one wants to hear that shit.
Yeah.
It's let the work do the talking and be positive and try and help folks out. Like I'm always like, heal people even if you're broken. Like you got to do the best. That's why we're here, right? Otherwise, do some other shit.
Right, for sure.
Yeah. I think it's important, man, to have that balance though. Like to know, y'all know me. I'm more of an impulsive kind of creator. I would be.
Not
I
you,
would be
Danny. Not you.
I would be the one more likely to be like, oh man, yeah, I want to work with you. Let's try something, whatever. But that's why, I always have somebody like Wally or Kyron around, to be like, hey man, wait a minute now. Because I really do believe that when the right deal comes around, like it'll line up. You know what I'm saying? So, having to tell people, hey, no, this isn't going to work. That isn't going to work. You have to have that balance, and I respect y'all both for that. I was gonna say, Sebastian, I was gonna say, I know you have incorporated your love for hip hop, into the comics, but I also know that you spent some time as a dancer, right? How are we gonna incorporate that into the dialogue?
Wow, good.
That might not be family friendly. I'll leave that for
I don't care. So my first job, thank you, Danny. My first job, I was like, I don't know, like 17 or something, and I worked at a record label, and I basically was like, I ended up getting hired to dance at the biggest gay club in Europe as a hip hop dancer, one of the speakers. Do my James Brown moves. I
was gonna say, was you like Pop with Digital Underground?
Yeah, it was very 100%. 100%. That was very me. And I'm like a James Brown fanatic. So I lasted about one evening, maybe two, and I was like, nah, I can't. I'm getting accosted, and I just remember this. There was this skinny black dude who was just always just screaming at me, and he had a white dude on a leash who was completely naked. So I was 17. I was like, again, I don't know where we're streaming this, but so anyway, I didn't last too long in that.
Kyron's not here, so
in that profession. So yeah, it was good times. And then when I moved to America, I just loved to dance a lot, and just no more professional dancing, but a lot of throwing down in the circle, in Lemur. So yeah, that was my just a dancing fiend. Yeah,
I love it. We got to get the quick takes. I just figured the audience might want to know about that. We got to get the quick takes real quick. Wally, I know you got some more questions. So let's do quick takes real quick, and then we will hit your other questions on the backside. So if you haven't seen the quick takes before, this is a rapid fire Q&A session where we grill our guests on their deepest, darkest secrets from the internet, like we have.
I wouldn't say you didn't already. Okay.
We already did that, but no, because Kyron couldn't be with us this week. I asked him to send in some questions for you. So you're gonna have 45 seconds to answer each question, and then we'll end with the fifth question being a top 5 list. So question number 1, Kyron wanted to know: are you a dual wield or a single wield weapon user, and why?
I would say I'm a dual wield kind of guy because I can kill twice as many people in just the right amount of time.
There you go.
Makes sense.
Nice and easy. I like it. Makes sense. Okay. So question number 2. He said that you recently did a comic about Robert Smalls. Who is another Black historic figure that you would want to do a comic book about?
Nina Simone. Nina Simone.
That's a good one.
For sure.
I would love to see that. Question number 3. Question number 3. Kyron said he saw that you once met Fred Williamson, aka Hammer. So he wants to know, what is your favorite blaxploitation movie? I'm a big fan of Barry Cordy's The Last Dragon. But
Lord, yeah, okay, yeah. I was going into the 70s, but yeah, I would say that's tough to beat, because literally my mom was like, I watched that movie every week, right? It was that Enter the Dragon, and my mom paid for an American company to do a mail order to send the soundtrack to the little village we were at in England, so I could do my workouts to the soundtrack. Last Dragon.
That's dope.
I was a Last Dragon fanatic, and I would say Vanity was probably one of my first crushes. Yeah, for sure. Much so that my dad bought the and I could then sell them at school.
Oh, so you was on your hustle early.
Yeah. Hustling.
I respect it.
Hey, I love it. Okay. Question number 4 from Kyron is, what is your favorite music to write to?
I would say right now I'm listening to a lot of Aaron Copland. Aaron Copland, if you remember the movie He Got Game, the Spike Lee joint. So Aaron Copland's music, if you listen to that whole soundtrack, is all from Aaron Copland. Right now I'm listening to that a lot. Like his intro, that intro is my second favorite movie intro of any movie of all time. He Got Game. I think it's a masterpiece. And that music is John Henry. It's called John Henry, and I listen to that a lot of mornings recently when I get up to be like, all right,
trying to get
back in bed. You're right. And I would say, apart from that, I listen to Gorecki, Eric Satie, and Ennio Morricone, all the spaghetti western music.
Yeah.
And then, of course, being a jazz head, I'll always come back to Alice Coltrane. Generally, I would say Alice Coltrane above everybody when I write.
Dope.
I love it. All right.
That's
so
not
now we got to
talking too much. Go on. Sorry.
No, you're all right. Now, for the last question, we like to do a top 5 list. And Kyron wants to know, we already said, you do. You're great with the homage covers, and the references. So he wants to know your top 5 comics to homage. What are going to be your top 5 next homages, or things that you haven't been able to homage yet?
My! Well, that's giving away a lot. Okay, that's already telling you my secret sauce. But I'll tell you this: on the next Kickstarter, we have an homage dropping midway through the campaign. Keep a lookout for it. Sade's Love Deluxe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I also want to do an homage to Coltrane's "A Love Supreme." That I also need to do an homage to. This is just for me, Alice Coltrane's "Journey in Satchidananda." If you have not listened to "Journey in Satchidananda" by Alice Coltrane, go and put that on when you go to sleep, or you're rising in the morning with the sun, and you'll walk with God. Right, God will be within you. Another one is Pharaoh Sanders. The Creator Has a Master Plan, which Pete Rock is his all-time. Pete Rock, of course, hip hop legend. His all-time favorite song. The Creator Has a Master Plan. Oh, and then I'm doing one to. I shouldn't be saying this, but I'll let you know.
Exclusive.
Don't do this. Paul's Boutique.
Okay. All right. I won't get it before you will, but I might have to put it on the list. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for doing that. All right, Wally, go ahead and take back over.
Take over. We just talk. See, this is the thing. Sebastian's a real guy. We can just have conversations here. I will ask though, would you say that your love for D&D games and things of that nature is what sparked building the world the way that you are? Or
it's I would say it's a combination. And Imani had a quick question. I'll just quickly answer it. I'm writing a serial killer project right now. If you like Dexter, you like Falling Down, or you like Hannibal, I'm writing one of those right now.
I know Morgan's favorite show is Dexter.
Oh,
So
right.
that's
Yeah,
definitely
I love that. Amazing. But yeah, so coming back to the boarding house, everything I think, you know, when I really look at the reality of my life's work, it's things that affected me dramatically as a young boy. Hence the record label putting out the kind of music I wanted to put out, that the music that saved me, right? And the other thing that kind of saved me is D&D. And I think, so when I was a young guy and I was getting picked on for being mixed, or my mum was a Bond girl and she was like a really beautiful model. She was England's #1 model in the exotic department. So a lot of the older boys in the 18, 19 would tease me, and teachers would tease me, and my mum being brown, they would talk a lot of shit as well. And my dad was quite wealthy, so they were also jealousy. But they, you know, like these are guys that my dad lost both his parents to suicide. Like my mum comes from the council estate. They're like people come up the hard way, and so there's a perception, right? It's coming back to me with like, oh, you're hanging out with a celebrity and holding a book up. No, whatever.
Right.
So I was creating this. I discovered Lord of the Rings. I discovered D&D. I discovered the idea of a fantasy world.
Right.
And that I started to create and play within, so I could hide within it, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
And I created Niobe to take on, I think I romanticized about her as a young guy, most likely. Not necessarily just in a romantic sense, but just in a way that she could be like someone to take on my vulnerabilities,
right,
and also my insecurities, but also my wrath.
Right.
And as I grew, she grew with me. And I think I was trying to get her to make this fantasy world I was creating a better place.
Yeah.
And as you know, you kind of, as you get older, you kind of get to a space where like, whoa, okay, maybe these stories that I'm telling through Niobe and these other characters can make our world a better place, as naive, as optimistic and naive and slightly arrogant in some respects as it sounds, but that's super real to me. It's super real to me. Like, as an example, in the first Niobe comic, the first line I wrote, I like to challenge the readers, right? So the first line I wrote up here, it says, what haunts you? So the omniscient voice of the goddess of light is asking Niobe when she's on the run, what haunts you?
Right.
But also basically asking you, the reader, what haunts you?
Right.
Allowing the reader to put themselves in Niobe's shoes right from the jump, and then you can get vulnerable right from the get-go. So yeah, D&D, playing in those spaces, fantasy allows me to kind of create, be that kind of Toshiro Mifune, Clint Eastwood badass, John Wick type dude you want to be, but also create gray areas. And the older I got, the kind of like the more conflicted the character got. Like Niobe, she's mixed. She's half angel, half demon, to reflect the duality of spirit we share. I'll show you a piece of artwork that kind of represents Niobe. If you is right there.
Yeah.
Is that Kanan also?
This is actually Sheldon Mitchell.
Oh yeah.
So Kanan did a cover version of this, but this is Sheldon who did the interiors for this book. Jamaican dude, he's amazing.
Yeah, that's super dope. I think that's another great thing about you found escape.
Hotels wants me out of here. Look, he's like, this has been a great show, but it's meant to end.
No, that's Kyron. That's Kyron. I messed up the form.
Oh, really?
I messed up the format of the show. So Kyron is in the comments, cracking jokes on me because he knows that I didn't do it the right way.
Gosh,
Kyron, he's trying.
I'm trying my best, Kyron. I'm sorry.
I would say too. I would say Sebastian, man, it's always cool how the parallels of, like, it's cool, but it's not cool. We go through certain things, but if we hadn't went through those things, we probably wouldn't be who we are, and wouldn't have the principles and the morals and and stand for the things that we stand for. But it's also dope to see in certain ways, you're giving outlets back to other people that can be an escape, that can give them a chance to reflect, that can become therapeutic, you know what I mean, on these other levels, while at the same time inspiring people as they hear your story and continue to hear your story and to see, you know, with the ups, the downs, the highs, the lows, the everything in between. So, you know, a lot of respect for that, man, because you know this isn't an easy game. The world itself isn't easy, but you know, it's even more difficult coming from the perspective that we're coming from and fighting to have, before it was cool, representation and voices. I also think it's dope that you decided to go a different path. You mentioned romanticizing Niobe, but it's dope that most creators would be like, I'm gonna make me like directly me the character, you know, and because Danny's Ace Blade, he doesn't, Morgan is Lumberjacks, like they don't like to admit it, but that's exactly who they are. But I think it's dope that you chose to go this other path that allowed you to explore and escape and build, but also allowed you opportunity to hold up women and give them light, and not give but help shine light, and be supportive in that way. So I think that's pretty amazing, bro.
Thank you. Yeah, you know, it's interesting. So yeah, I appreciate that. Niobe has always been the face of the franchise. As Danny posted this is actually one of the early bird homages you can get on the new Kickstarter, which I think kind of speaks to the concept of silencing Black women, you know, what people try to do. So I wanted to rock a really dope Silence of the Lambs homage for this one. So I wrote a character called the Stranger, right? Because I always wanted to be that Clint Eastwood man with no name, kind of Yojimbo kind of character as a young guy. Like, I'm not that cool. I can't say the right thing, you know, in the bar or whatever. I'm not going to get the one-liners. I'll think of it in the car, right, on the drive home.
Right.
Yeah. This, you know. But I'll try and you know maybe fail, but it's all right. So I created this character called the Stranger, and the Strangers in the Untamed, who is who you believe, and this is the first book that I wrote, The Untamed, and who you believe is the star, right? But it's also purposeful, not just because it's a nod to the spaghetti westerns and the samurai movies of Kurosawa. It's also the fact that the Strangers making way for Niobe to shine, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, because that will be first appeared in that, right?
Good first appeared in the Untamed, exactly. And when I like to do this. I'll give you guys kind of the pitch for the Untamed. It will kind of give you a set you up for what that is. When I signed the deal with HBO, before I signed the deal with HBO, I was in the meeting with the head of drama there. And he asked me a question. He said, because I'd had a lot of meetings with studios, and they were like asking all the regular questions, like, so what demographic is this for? And I'm like, and I was like, I don't know, people that like good shit.
Yeah.
Like, I know what you want to say, but I'm not going to say it. It's too cringy. But this guy said to me, I love this dude. He was like, can I ask you a question, Sebastian? Is the Stranger you? And I was like, yeah, he's my my struggle with needing redemption, and I've done some bad stuff, and what if I had a second chance to get redemption or to right the wrong? As men, we make so many mistakes, and are we allowed to forgive ourselves? Are we allowed? What would he do with a second chance? And would we kill the world for our family? What would we do with second chances? And he said, okay, cool. And he goes, can I ask you something else? Is Niobe you? And I was like, yeah, she's my conscience.
Right.
She's my opportunity to become that better man for her.
Right.
And also she's mixed like me and understanding like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. It's like this thing of it's just struggle to belong. I don't feel like I belong anywhere, but I can fit in, and I belong with certain people that, okay, I belong with this person or this person. So I've had to kind of make my own tribe. But I think that's kind of more common with everybody as young people, like, oh, where do I belong? Oh, I'm into this now, whatever. So anyway, all that's to say is, yeah, that relationship, I understand the relationship on trying to connect with your character, but also when you are writing for somebody that is not of your gender or age or culture or whatever, maybe not culture, maybe race or whatever you want to call it, you have to empathize and then sometimes work with people that know more than you do. Like when I work with Mandler or I work with Tuso, or, you know, but also not then get caught up in like, oh, I'm not allowed to write anything other than a mixed guy with big hair, you know, like that's right. But, you know, I get that question a lot at conventions after I do a panel. This white dude comes like, I'm writing about a black character. Is that okay? I'm like, yeah, bro, write your shit, you know, but understand you're going to get people talking shit about you. And that's also okay.
Right.
Look at the context in history. Right.
Yeah.
As long as you honor what you're writing and it's not just a, you know, it's because we need one, you know, why?
Right. Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. Right. That's always the mark of a bizarre white writer to me. Like, oh, it's really great. It's really diverse. I got an Asian guy. I got a black guy. I'm like, what? You know, like,
I am Captain Blind. Yeah.
I don't get that shit at all. Right.
No, man.
But sometimes it comes from a place of innocence, right? So I don't want to also come across like a dick. It's just, oh, okay. We live in a soundbite reality. We live in an Instagram reality. We live in a reality that doesn't necessarily teach us that, yeah, doing sound bowls on Instagram might not be necessarily always a good thing because you're fucking with spirits.
Right.
You're doing it for likes instead now. You're creating, like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, we live in a headline society, and most people struggle with that level of self-awareness because they're too busy going like, oh, who am I following?
Right.
That's so genius of Instagram, not to be on a tangent, but I'm like, whoa, you come with a term. I'm following someone, like they're like my leader. And I have followers. Right, it plays to the ego. I wrote a line in Niobe and Dura, and I was like, a leader is not measured in followers, but in the courage, in facing the demons they have the courage to face, something like that. And the demons they have the courage to face.
Yeah.
Right. Whether that's external or internal. But anyway, so I'm sorry, I'm like,
Nah, you good. Like, listen, I enjoyed the conversation. I'm pretty sure Danny is thinking he'll never send me and you together into a meeting with anybody because we probably have people tearing the office down and jumping out the windows when it's all said and done.
I love it, man. Like a friend of mine, Jock Niem, he just got on and ranted about having to be everything, you know, as far as pushing your comics, man. I think it's great to have people who have different voices, have, you know, different perspectives, because, you know, we need them all. And like, I just think that it's total BS that, you know, people would say that, you know, a white kid from Arkansas can't connect with a character because they're black or a woman. Like all the things that you're saying are universal things that everybody has to deal with, the dualities, and, you know, the want for revenge at times, and, you know, the good and the evil side of everybody. So
but it is the balance that he mentioned as well, like the reasoning, the intent,
the reasoning.
Like not just doing it because, oh, this will make it cool. What if I make them this? You know what I mean? Like,
okay.
And,
all right.
And then we also have to allow people to grow and find themselves, right? So you might not necessarily I couldn't have written The Untamed at 20. I needed to make some mistakes. So, but we're in such a society to condemn and be like, oh, look at me, like this, that, and a lot of people do that because they'll need a quick like boost of likes on their page to give themselves a little bit of a jolt. Like I've seen people talk shit about me on social media. I'm like, okay, you're obviously going through some shit. Cool. You could have just picked up the phone and called me.
Right.
Like, it's you know,
we've all made mistakes. We've all made mistakes, and I'm not gonna let Kyron get me by going over to my time on this show. So I'm not. I'm not gonna make that mistake today. So Sebastian, I posted again in the chat the Kickstarter link. So where can our get fans follow you? Where can our followers follow you? Even though I know we don't care, we don't necessarily. But where can they keep up with your content? And tell us what else you got coming up next.
Yeah, thank you so much. So you guys can follow me at Stranger Comics on all the socials. You'll also see our Kickstarter launch, our Stranger Con launch. Do not miss that. For folks that like shiny metal comics, we made even like, look at this, for you folks that need this edition. We got this in golds and metals and all the things. Yetida Badaki of American Gods, check it out. Beautiful love affairs right there. Set in Purgatory, coming to Kickstarter. But yeah, Stranger Comics, strangercomics.com. You'll find me on all that stuff. Stranger Comics Saturday, we launched the Kick. Instagram Thursday Lives. I do that stuff every Thursday, like an idiot. And then WonderCon and Anaheim, all the conventions. I don't know, but let me leave you with this. All right, for folks that don't know, I'm going to leave you with a pitch to the Untamed. All right, this is the start of Stranger Comics, and this will give you an idea of why you might like this. All right, would you damn your family to save the world? The Untamed is a story about a man who's stuck in purgatory. And after 10 years, the devil comes along and he says, I'll give you 7 days to reap the 7 souls that murdered you and your family. He says, well, sign me up. He takes a drifter's return to a one-horse town in a huge world. As his memory comes back in broken shards, he realizes when he was alive, he was a bad man. Maybe he deserved to die, but now he's on a path to save his family. On his path of vengeance to save them, he meets a little elven girl called Niobe. And she reminds him of how old his murdered daughter would have been, giving this man a second chance that we men need to be a good man, even a father. He only has 7 days.
7 days.
The kicker is, what if she's one of the 7 souls he has to collect? And the devil set the whole thing up just to find her. Would you damn your family to save the world, or would you damn the world to save your family? Because if Niobe can stay alive in the Untamed, in this book we spent 10 years painting. Look, that's the guy, the lead artist of The Last of Us. You know the video game The Last of Us?
Yep.
That would be the guy who paints Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings of Sweden, Peter Bergting. Look at this. Look at this spaghetti western magic right here in fantasy. Come on now.
I love it.
Look at that right there. If Niobe can stay alive in the Untamed, maybe she'll grow up to become my fantasy franchise's savior or destroyer.
Yeah.
All right,
I love it.
Sounds like you've been practicing a little bit.
Danny told me out an interview. I've been studying all day.
You may have said that picture once or twice, man. No, I love it. Sebastian, man, thank you for coming. Wally, thank you for stepping in for Kyron again. Hopefully,
Kyron, I'm sorry, man. I had to, have some real conversation. A real one was on here, so I can't let Danny just mess this conversation up.
Got to do it. Wally, where can people follow you and catch what's coming up next for you?
Oh, at Wally V, WOLLYV. That's the Instagrams. But I normally be at fourth wall, sweeping the floors and stuff. So you can always catch me there, man. It's cool.
And y'all know me.
Danny, sorry to cut you off. I just put the Stranger Con on. I Facebook messaged you if you want to put it on the stream for folks that don't know. They want to come and get that free Akira homage. If you want to cut and paste it and put it in there, that's the YouTube live stream. If you guys go to the YouTube live stream and hit like, subscribe, remind, if we hit there it is right there. If we hit 200 likes, you get something else for free. So come to the stream, get all of your goodies, all the metal joints too. Look at that.
Woo. Hey, I know I'm gonna be there, man. I gotta get that Akira Dragon. I gotta get that. So we appreciate you coming.
Thanks for having me.
Kyron usually has a drawn out thing, a very eloquent ending for the show. But I'm just gonna say thank y'all for